Parshas Vayeitzei, Tov Shin Pei Vav. So really tonight is a very special night. How do we start off? First, Poischen the Void Achsanya. We were bringing you tonight's shir from the new under construction Bikur Cholim Volunteers Lounge. Special Toyamel here tonight. I mean, every Thursday night there's an amazing Toyamel here. But tonight, more so than usual, first of all, to inaugurate this new lounge, which is really going to be something special. I can just tell from looking around here how fancy it already looks. It's going to be really fantastic. And second of all, tonight is really a very special night for myself and everybody who's involved in this Nesivos Shalom shir, because I find it unbelievable to even say these words, but tonight is our 800th consecutive week of having the Nesivos Shalom Parshas HaShavua shir. Now this was a shir that was supposed to just be for 1 week. We were going to say it by Torah in the Southside Sandwich Shop 16 years ago this week. And here we are, 16 years later, Parshas Vayeitzei. We actually started in Parshas Toldos, I believe, 16 years ago, which is now, Baruch Hashem, Chesed from Hashem. We have not missed a week, and this is our 800th straight week. And we migrated up, of course. We went from the Southside Sandwich Shop when it got closed down and moved here, there, and Baruch Hashem was getting a little bit too busy in the Southside to start having a shir in the middle of Toyamel there. So we moved over to Bikur Cholim. I think we're here close to 10 years in Bikur Cholim. And tremendous hakaras hatov to Hashem for allowing me to do this, for giving me the opportunity to have met the Nesivos Shalom, and started saying a shir right away on Friday night, which some of the people here actually attended that shir on Friday night, which is still going, and then the Thursday night shir here. So thank you to everybody, the videographers, the participants, those who put the shir online, LakewoodScoop.com, who was the person behind me, the people behind me, Yosef Motherpearl from Southside Sandwich Shop, and all the people who gave me the chizuk and continue to give me the chizuk to spread the Torah of the Nesivos Shalom around the world. Now we could go on for the entire time, but we're limited to under 15 minutes, so the rest of the time we're going to use to say the Torah on this week's Parsha. And the Pasuk says, Vayachaloim Yaakov Avinu, famously, one of the most famous episodes in the Torah, Yaakov Avinu has a dream. V'hinei sulam mutzav arza. Yaakov Avinu sees a ladder firmly planted on the ground. V'roshoi magia hashamayma. And the head of the ladder, the top of the ladder, is up in Shamayim. V'hinei malachei Elokim olim v'yordim bo. Yaakov Avinu sees in his dream there are malachim going up and down this ladder. V'hinei Hashem nitzav alav. Hashem is standing over the ladder, and everybody here knows. You have this picture in your mind of when you were in second grade or first grade, and your Rebbe or your Mora or your teacher taught you about this dream of Yaakov Avinu, and hopefully we've graduated a little bit from that picture that we have in our mind. But one of the most famous things in the Torah, everybody knows about the stones that Yaakov Avinu was putting his head down on, and really there are so many midrashim and Mamorei Chazal that speak volumes about this episode in the Torah of Yaakov Avinu lying down to sleep, and in his dream he sees what we just mentioned, this ladder and everything like that. And one of the explanations, there are so many explanations, and one of the explanations that are given in the Medrash is a very easy one. And the Medrash, not easy, very interesting one actually. The Medrash tells us that one of the things this ladder and Yaakov Avinu going to sleep here represents is Kabbalah HaTorah. It represents in different ways Har Sinai, what Har Sinai looked like, and how the Yidden were makabel the Torah many years later. And the Medrash, the Nesivos Shalom, tells us that Sinai, the word Sinai, it's what you said, it's represented Har Sinai in this dream. The word Sinai is actually gematria, the word Sulam. Sulam, Samach, Lamed, Mem, and Sinai, Samach, Yud, Nun, Yud. They're all both the same gematria, and each one of those equals 130. So how does it refer to Kabbalas HaTorah? Because it says Sulam Mutzav Arza. So the Medrash says that it refers to Klal Yisrael, where the pasuk tells us Vayisyatvu Besachti Sahar, that Klal Yisrael was camped out, was standing there under the mountain, and this Vayisyatvu again, Sulam Mutzav Arza. And Baroishai Magia Hashamayma, the top of the ladder was going up to Shemayim. That refers to the pasuk that says the Ahar Bayer Ba'eish, the mountain was full of fire ad leva Shemayim. Baroishai Magia Hashamayma, once again comparing to Maimed Har Sinai. V'hinei malachei Elokim olim v'yordim boi, that the malachim were going up and down the ladder. That represents Moshe and Aaron, the Medrash says, who were going up and down from Moshe and Aaron, who were going up and coming back down to bring the Torah to Klal Yisrael. B'nei Hashem nitzav olav. Hashem is coming down to the top of Har Sinai, which the pasuk says, Vayered Hashem al Har Sinai al Rosh Har. So this entire dream is a sign and a representation of something of Kabbalas HaTorah that would happen to the descendants of Yaakov Avinu in the future. And this is a message for us to teach us about Kabbalas HaTorah. So Nesivos Shalom says something very, very interesting that's for every single one of us here. Nesivos Shalom tells us, okay, so very nice, this is all compared, and we brought down psukim that are compared to the psukim here by Yaakov Avinu, the psukim by Har Sinai. But what's the lesson? How does it connect to us? How do we connect to this lesson? What do we learn from Maimed Har Sinai over here, from the ladder in the dream of Yaakov Avinu? Says in the Nesivos Shalom that when the pasuk tells us by Kabbalas HaTorah, Vayisyatvu Besachti Sahar, that they stood on the bottom of the mountain by Kabbalas HaTorah, says in the Nesivos Shalom that just like a ladder sits on the ground. What does it mean, the bottom of the ladder? If you look at the bottom of the ladder, if you're only focusing in on the bottom of the ladder, you see something that's standing on the ground. We start very small. Imagine someone stands up on the first step of the ladder. Would you say that he's very high up in the sky? Would you say that he's gotten anywhere? Would you say that they're climbing to anywhere? We begin learning Torah on a very, very elementary, low level when we start learning. The bottom of the ladder, all the way down. And anybody could start at any time. Oh, it's too hard for me to finish Shas. It's too hard for me to be Mavasedra every week, the whole year. It's too hard for me to finish Tanakh, Nevi'im Rishonim, Nevi'im Achronim. But everybody could step up on the first rung of the ladder. So Yaakov Avinu in his dream is seeing this ladder. And this ladder is compared to Kabbalas HaTorah. The first lesson that a person has to know about the Torah and the ladder is that you have to take the first step. You take the first step, you step up on the first step of the ladder. Do it the first week. Learn the first daf, learn the first parsha, learn the first navi, the first mishnah, whatever it is. And then, just like a ladder, one by one rung at a time, one rung of the ladder, each day, slowly we attain levels in Torah. It's a lesson, the ladder of Yaakov, how it, besides the psukim that are similar by the Sulam of Yaakov Avinu and Kabbalas HaTorah, the ladder of Yaakov also teaches us how to approach the Torah and how to grow in Torah. It does not happen overnight. Nobody becomes a gadol overnight. It does not happen at once, step by step. And the message says in the Nesivos Shalom is even more than that. If a person accepts on themselves to live by the Torah and to lead a life directed and guided by the Torah, A person could do all the things that you need to do in this world. People have a question all the time. It's hard for me to sit and learn a whole day. It's hard for me to open a Gemara and sit 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hours a day in front of a Gemara. This parsha of Yaakov Avinu teaches us a very, very important lesson, really, for every single one of us, that a person could do whatever they need to do in their lives. People need to work, people need to bring up families, people need to go shidduchim, people need to do things in their life. But if you live by the guidelines, if you live by the laws and the way of the Torah in Olam Hazeh, as long as it is within the parameters of the Torah, it's still going to bring you up to V'hinei Hashem Nitzav Alav. You're going to grow in Torah, you're going to grow in your life, and you're going to have a lot of Siyata D'Shmaya. This message of the ladder is down here in Olam Hazeh. You could live here in Olam Hazeh and do what you have to, and still bring Torah and Hashem into your life, and raise the level all the way to V'roishe Magia Shamayma. And this, actually, the next thing I'm going to say is one of my favorite, the Nesivos Shalom, we've done so many hundreds of lessons, so many hundreds of things. One of my favorite lessons in the Nesivos Shalom, the Nesivos Shalom tells us that the Pasuk says, that Yaakov Avinu said, Ochein yesh Hashem b'makoim hazeh. Yaakov Avinu is laying down there, and the lad is there. He says, wow, look, Hashem, there's Hashem in this place. V'anochi lo yadati. I didn't know that there could be Hashem here. Says in the Nesivos Shalom a beautiful thing. Yaakov Avinu is saying that until this point, I thought that you can only grow. I thought there's only Hashem in the Beis Medrash. Yaakov Avinu sat for 14 years. He sat in the yeshiva. He didn't go out. And he thought that if somebody leaves yeshiva, that's it. You're not going to feel, you're not going to see Hashem. You're not going to grow as a Yid. You're not going to grow in Torah. You're not going to be growing in the things that a Yid has to grow in. Yaakov Avinu says, I came out here now. I see a Sula Mutzav Arza. It's firmly planted in Olam Hazeh, which represents doing the things that a person has to do in Olam Hazeh. But now I see that V'roishay Magia Hashamayma, that a person could still do everything they have to do in Olam Hazeh. I didn't know that this is possible, but now I'm learning that lesson. I'm being oisik in Yonei Olam Hazeh. Yaakov Avinu was leaving the Beis Medrash. He was on his way. Yaakov Avinu was the world's most sought after bachelor, right? Yaakov Avinu was going to find a shidduch. Yaakov Avinu was going to go work for somebody that ripped him off. Right? He worked for Laban for 7 years, and then another 7 years, and then after that, and Yaakov Avinu said, where am I going to find Hashem? The lesson is that if you live by the ideals of the Torah, then your work, and your home, and your place, wherever you go, in your business, in your life, the people you interact with, that could reach all the way up to V'roishe Magia Hashemoyim. And even Yaakov Avinu didn't know that. Ochein yesh Hashem b'makoim hazeh, v'anochi lo yadati. I didn't know, and Yaakov Avinu was feeling it now. He saw that this is news. This is news, and it's good news. Yaakov Avinu saw that a Yid can make a Kiddush Hashem, a Yid can grow in Torah, whatever you have to do in your life, as long as you live by the ideals of the Torah. And the message to all of us from this Nesivos Shalom, there's really two messages here. The first message is that we grow by steps of the ladder. Small steps. Person, take the first step, go up one rung of the ladder, go up another rung of the ladder, and slowly but surely you'll see you're growing. You're growing in life, you're growing in Torah, you're making Kiddush Hashem wherever you go. And that's the important thing, to make a Kiddush Hashem in whatever we do and wherever you go. You leave the Beis Medrash, if you're outside, you have an opportunity. The ground it's firmly planted on the ground, but whatever you do, V'roishay Magia Hashemoyma, you could reach high levels and make a Kiddush Hashem in every aspect of your life.